So tax planning, understanding injured spouse. So single individuals should discuss debt incurred and or accrued respectively before marriage, especially past due obligations owed to the IRS, child support, and for non-taxable student loans. Any partner accumulated debt incurred before marriage is the responsibility of that individual person. This means that a single individual's tax return would be protected. However, when spouses file jointly, which is termed as married filing jointly, the IRS will often apply one spouse's refund to resolve another spouse's tax obligation. So, the first pandemic COVID checks, there was an outcry from a post about a woman who couldn't get her check because her husband, her money went to her husband's outstanding child support. So his money and any money that they could have gotten together and the money allotted for the kids went to pay down that debt obligation. So she would be considered an injured spouse in that way. It could be a tax obligation, but this happens usually when you are married and you file jointly. This is called injured spouse, in which one spouse is negatively impacted for a debt that he or she does not owe. To receive a part of the refund, the spouse may petition under injured spouse, and then the spouse can file Form 8379, injured spouse allocation, to request their share of the joint refund seized to pay past due obligations of the other spouse. Past due obligations might include federal tax, state tax, child support, and or federal non-tax debts such as a student loan. So, the same thing can happen to you as well. You could have problems. You can default on your student loans, and then there's a notice that goes out for something like that. And when you file together, his money might go towards your student loan obligation. So this is something to ask and ask types of questions. That's why we need to have the conversation before we have sex. Summary of past due obligations might include one or more of the following. So child support payments, federal or state taxes, non-tax debt student loans, certain unemployment compensation debt, and then alimony, of course. Now let's check SWOT for tax planning. So what are your tax planning strengths? What are your tax planning weaknesses? What are your tax planning opportunities? What are your tax planning threats? So strengths are just that you just need to, if you already have a good habit of paying bills, and paying your tax obligation shouldn't be a problem for you. You just have to adjust. Weaknesses might lead to, if you don't have exceptional pay history, you're going to have a problem. And when it comes to the IRS tax obligation, you could go to jail. So whatever weaknesses you have about paying bills, you're going to have to change your thinking about that quickly. And then, because you don't want them to attach a lien to your account, which is going to take all of your money. And then tax planning opportunities, meaning that you need to learn better how to pay your taxes or pay your bills in a timely manner. It just depends on what led you to that situation. And then what are your tax planning threats? The tax planning threats is that you could go to jail, or there could be a lien attached to your account or to your pay, to your work pay. And you don't want companies to know that you have tax problems.